with StarCraft 2 turning 10, and of course the anniversary, 10-year anniversary of StarCraft 2, I thought it was definitely a good time to start bringing up, what the future could look like in this franchise. I mean, guys, look, StarCraft 2 has, done so much for me. It was the very first PC game I ever purchased, and I gotta say, I really feel like I knocked it out of the park, so to speak. I really thought that this was a title that I just, when I was looking in the store at Walmart, looking at all the options and seeing StarCraft 2, never played a StarCraft game before, and purchasing Wings of Liberty was a great decision. It's kind of shaped what my channel has become. I mean, if you really think about it, guys, when I launched this channel back in 2018, this channel was all about casting StarCraft 2 games, and it was just a passion of mine that I really enjoyed. Casting StarCraft 2, pro games or VODs, and now it's evolved to where we are now, and we're, continuing to bring out content. But I thought that a big part of my channel was also trying to get certain games made out there that, haven't been announced yet, and one of those, of course, being StarCraft 3. And so now, guys, we're coming on the 10-year anniversary, or we're already surpassed the 10-year anniversary now. So what does this mean? Well, guys, obviously I have been an advocate of trying to get StarCraft 3 made because I thought for a number of reasons it should be made. Just for the continuation of the franchise, continuation of the lore, the story that is StarCraft. And it would, continue, it could continue transcending esports and just gaming as a whole, the RTS genre as a whole. This is the real-time strategy game of our time, and so I've felt that it was really important to continue that. And StarCraft 1, guys, came out, between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2, I should say, there was a 10-year gap. And now, between StarCraft 2 and what could be StarCraft 3 is another 10-year gap. So if we go based on that trend, we could very well see StarCraft 3 announced this year. Now, obviously, it wouldn't come out, in 10 years. It would probably come out in a couple years after it would get announced this year. But I think it's really important that StarCraft 3 is made. And I've stated that from a number of reasons. I believe StarCraft, has so much to explore. There's so much lore, there's so much history here that we can explore in the StarCraft universe. And imagine the upgraded graphics to the after 10 years, guys, look at, what could Blizzard potentially do here with the StarCraft 3. I think they could do a lot. And there's a passionate fan base here that wants more StarCraft in the future. And so I think having more StarCraft would also really kind of give us a fresh start somewhat. Not that StarCraft 2 needs to, needs a fresh start. But at the same time, if you remember the early history of StarCraft 2, we remember some of the real issues that came into the esports scene, that being, of course, the issue that was the match-fixing scandal and things of that nature that really hurt StarCraft 2 as a whole. This would be a fresh start from an esports perspective. Even though I know StarCraft 2 is on a really good trend right now, I think leading us into StarCraft 3, it would be that fresh start. It would get a ton of fresh eyeballs on just the IP as a whole. It would continue building the franchise in a major way. And I think it would just be a smart decision for Blizzard to continue this franchise. We've already seen that StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 3, from the standpoint of a first-person shooter, there were two that were in development over at Blizzard. Both have been canceled. So they're obviously working on StarCraft stuff. Whether it be a real-time strategy or a first-person shooter is yet to be revealed. But I think that it needs to continue as a real-time strategy. That's what this franchise started as. And I'm okay with them making a mobile game. I'm okay with them making a first-person shooter. But I think that they also need to continue the RTS, because this is, if you think about it, still the biggest RTS in the world, and I think that it would just continue that, right? It would bring the RTS back to the main stage, and many people would end up jumping back on board to at least giving it a try. And so StarCraft 3, guys, I believe it will get announced. I don't know if it's going to be this year at BlizzCon or whatever the case might be, but I do believe that it's going to happen. But we as a community need to voice our opinion that we want a continuation here of this franchise, this beloved franchise, guys. People love StarCraft. It's an incredible franchise. It's done so much for me. It's part of the reason why I launched this YouTube channel, was because of StarCraft. And look, at the end of the day, a StarCraft 3 could mean, so much to this community, even though a lot of the people in the community don't really see it right now. They're more kind of almost complacent with StarCraft 2. I think that it needs a third game so that we as a community can continue to evolve and grow as a community over time. But all I got to say, guys, is StarCraft 3, I do believe an announcement is coming. I don't know if it's going to be at BlizzCon this year. I don't know if it's going to be next year or when it will be. I do believe, though, that the StarCraft 3 community and movement is growing. And with that, guys, I'm excited that we're going to continue making StarCraft 3 content here on the YouTube channel until this thing gets, put into existence and placed, and cemented for us to really talk about in a major way. But with that, guys, let me know, do you guys want a StarCraft 3? And what are your best memories of StarCraft 2 at this point in time? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more StarCraft 3 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.